I want you to think about the last time you landed on another agent's Instagram or YouTube channel and immediately thought, this person has it all together. This person looks legit. I don't know who they are yet, but I already respect them. Now, think about what actually created that impression. Was it their listings? Was it their sales volume? Their years of experience? Probably not. You didn't know any of that yet. What you responded to was their brand, the way everything looked and felt, the consistency, the confidence, the clarity of who they are and who they actually serve. That's what we're talking about today, because here's the truth that most agents don't want to hear. In the digital world, perception is built before proof is ever presented. People decide whether to trust you before they ever see your track record. And that decision happens in seconds, based entirely on your brand. The good news, building a brand that looks elevated, intentional, and trustworthy does not require luxury listings. It does not require a massive budget, and thanks to AI, it doesn't even require a graphic designer or a marketing team. It requires clarity, consistency, and a strategy, all of which I'm going to give you today. So let's get into it. If you're new here, I'm meagan. I'm a real estate agent and I create content for agents who want to build smarter, more modern businesses. We talk about branding, AI, content strategy, inbound lead generation, the stuff that actually moves the needle in today's market. If that's the kind of content you need, go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming. And if at any point during this video, you want to have a real conversation about business, whether you're struggling with your brand, your systems, or just trying to figure some stuff out, figuring out what your next move might be, you can book a call with me directly at the link in the description, or shoot me a text at 520-980-9880. I do discovery calls every week, and I genuinely love those conversations. All right, let's talk about brand. Let's start with why this matters so much right now, because I think a lot of agents still underestimate the role that brand plays in their business. We are living in a world where a potential client, a referral partner, or another agent can look you up in 30 seconds and form a complete opinion about you before you ever even speak to them. They go to your Instagram, they check your YouTube, they Google your name, and in that 30-second window, they make a decision about whether you seem credible, whether you seem like someone they would want to work with, or whether you seem like a professional. Here's the problem. Most agents' digital presence communicates the wrong thing. It looks inconsistent, it looks like no one is home, and it looks like the agent is just posting whatever they thought of that day with no real strategy. And when a potential client or another agent looking for a partner sees that, they just move on. Not because the agent is bad at their job, but because the brand didn't hold up. Here's what I see over and over again. Agents who have been in the business for years. I'm talking the ones who are genuinely great at what they do. They're showing up online in a way that makes them look like they just got licensed last month. And agents who are newer but have invested in their brand looking more credible and getting more inbound than veterans twice the experience level. That's the power of brand. And it's also the opportunity, because most agents are not taking it seriously, which means if you do, you stand out immediately. Now, let me tell you where most agents go wrong specifically, because understanding the mistakes makes the solution a lot easier to implement. Mistake number one is inconsistency. Different fonts on every post, different colors every week, a headshot that looks nothing like the person in the video, a bio that hasn't been updated in 2 years. Inconsistency communicates one thing to the viewer. This person doesn't have a system. And if you don't have a system for your own brand, Why would I trust you to manage the most important financial transaction of my life? Mistake number 2 is the generic positioning. I'm a passionate, hardworking agent who puts clients first. That's on every single agent's profile in America. It says nothing, it differentiates nothing, it gives a potential client or partner absolutely no reason to choose you over anyone else. And mistake number 3, there's no clear audience. Some agents are posting market updates, then lifestyle content, then motivational quotes, then a listing, then a random personal photo, and it's all in the same week. There's no thread, no clarity on what they're speaking to or what they stand for. And when your audience can't figure out who you are or who you are there for, they don't follow, they don't engage, and they definitely don't reach out. These are fixable, all of them. And here is how. The first pillar of a strong real estate brand is your visual identity. And this is where AI has genuinely changed the game for agents who don't have a design background or a budget for a branding agency. Your visual identity is everything the eye sees before the mind reads a word. It's your colors, your fonts, your photo, and your video style, the way your thumbnails look, the aesthetic of your Instagram grid, all of it. Here's the principle. Consistency creates perception. When someone scrolls your Instagram and every post looks like it belongs to the same family, same color palette, same font style, same overall feel, they don't consciously register it, but they walk away with a subconscious impression that this person is put together, this person is intentional, this brand is real. You don't need 10 colors, you need to pick like 2 or 3. Pick a primary color that represents your brand personality, something that photographs well, stands out in feeds, and feels aligned with the clients you want to serve. And 1 or 2 neutrals. Lock those in and use them everywhere. Every graphic, every thumbnail, every Canva template, every piece of content you create. Now, here's where AI comes in. Tools like ChatGPT, Claude, and Canva's AI features have made it possible for any agent to create a real, professional, elevated, consistent brand assets in a fraction of the time and the cost it used to take. You can describe your brand to an AI, which is your audience, your personality, your color palette, and ask it to generate brand guidelines, content templates, caption frameworks, even a full social media strategy. What used to cost thousands of dollars and weeks of time with branding agencies now can be done in an afternoon. I use AI in my own content workflow every single week, not to replace my voice, but to accelerate it, to take what's in my head and turn it into polished, consistent, usable content faster than I ever could on my own. For your visual identity specifically, here's what to focus on first. Your profile photo needs to look current, professional, and like you. Not like 5 years ago, not a photo taken at an angle in bad lighting, a real, clear, well-lit headshot that represents who you are right now. This is the single highest leverage visual investment you can make. Your YouTube thumbnail style needs to be consistent, same font, same color, same general layout. When someone is scrolling YouTube and they see 3 of your thumbnails in a row that all look like they belong together, that's when you start to look like a real media brand, not just an agent who sometimes posts videos. And your Instagram grid needs a visual logic. It doesn't need to be a perfect checkerboard, but if someone lands on your profile and the first 9 images they see tell a coherent story, this is who I am, this is what I talk about, this is the world I live in, then they are far more likely to follow and reach out than if those 9 images look completely random. The second pillar is your brand voice. And this is where a lot of agents who nail visuals still fall flat because they sound like everyone else. Your brand voice is how you write, how you speak, and what you say. It's the personality that comes through in your captions, in your video intros, and in your DMs, your email replies, etc. It's what makes someone read one of your posts and immediately know that it's you, even without seeing your name. Most agents write the way they think a professional is supposed to sound: formal, safe, and vague. Excited to announce that I just helped another family find their dream home. Nobody really reads that. Nobody remembers that. Nobody shares that. The agents who build real brands write and speak like a human being with an actual perspective. They're specific, they're honest, they're occasionally funny. They're willing to say the thing that other agents won't say. And that specifically and authenticity is what makes people stop scrolling. Here's a simple exercise that I want you to try. Open up your last 5 captions or the last 5 things you said on camera. Read them out loud. Do they sound like you? Do they sound like something you would actually say to a friend or a client in a real conversation? Or do they sound like they were written by a generic real estate marketing template? If the answer is the latter, that's totally fixable. And again, AI can actually help you here in a really specific way. I use AI to help me find my voice at scale. I'll take a thought that I have, a raw, unfiltered idea, and I'll say to the AI, hey, my point of view on this is blah, blah, blah. Help me write it in a way that sounds more like me. Direct, honest, conversational with a no corporate speak. And then it gives me a starting point that I can then refine into something that genuinely sounds like Meg Estes. The key is that the AI doesn't create your voice. You bring the perspective, the experience, and the opinions. AI helps you express them faster and more consistently. That's the right way to use AI. Your brand voice also needs a point of view, not just a topic, but a perspective. I'm a real estate agent is a topic. I believe agents who build content-driven businesses will outperform everyone who is still cold calling in 5 years. And that is a point of view. That's something people can agree with, disagree with, and have a reaction to. That's what builds a real following. What do you believe about the industry that not everyone may agree with? What do you know from experience that newer agents don't know yet? What frustrates you about the way most agents operate? Those opinions, when stated clearly and honestly, are the foundation of a brand voice that people actually want to listen to. The third pillar is your content strategy, and this is where everything comes together. Because a beautiful visual identity and a strong brand voice means nothing if you're not showing up consistently with content that reaches the right people. Let me walk you through the content engine I use and teach, because this is one of the things I'm most passionate about helping other agents implement. It starts with 1 piece of long-form content per week. For me, that's YouTube. A 15 to 20 minute video that goes deep on a topic that matters to my audience. This is the anchor piece. Everything flows from it. Here's where the AI powered part comes in. Once that video is recorded, I use AI to break it down into every other format I need for the week. The transcript goes to an AI tool and I ask it to pull out the key points, write the Instagram captions from different angles, generate a short form script for a reel, draft a carousel outline, and suggest the best quote or soundbite for a standalone post. 1 video, 1 recording session, an entire week of content across multiple platforms. That's the content waterfall, and AI is what makes it sustainable for solo agents or small teams. The agents who are winning online right now are not posting more than everyone else. They're repurposing smarter. They're using AI to stretch one idea across every format their audience uses. So they show up everywhere without burning out. Now, let's talk about what should actually be posting, because content strategy isn't just about format, it's about the mix of topics that builds trust, demonstrates expertise, and creates a connection simultaneously. I think about content in 3 buckets. The first bucket is educational content, videos, posts, and carousels that teach something useful. This is the content that gets found in searches, builds your credibility, and attracts people who are actively looking for the information that you're sharing. This is your market updates, your FAQ videos, or your how-to content. The second bucket is perspective content, your opinions, your takes, your honest assessments of what's happening in the industry. This is the content that builds a following. People don't follow accounts that just give them information. They can get information anywhere. They follow the people who have a point of view they find compelling. This is where your brand voice does the heavy lifting. And the third bucket is personal brand content. The behind the scenes, the personal stories, the glimpse of your actual life and your personality. This is what makes people feel like they know you. Not oversharing, not performing, just enough humanity that the person watching feels like they're connecting with a real person, not a brand account. A healthy context mix is roughly 50% educational, 30% perspective, and 20% personal brand. Adjust that based on your personality and what feels natural, but make sure all three buckets are showing up regularly. Here's the thing I want to say specifically to agents who feel like they don't have time for all of this, because I understand that objection. You're running a real estate business, you have clients, transactions, appointments, paperwork. Content can feel like one more thing on an already impossible list. But here's the reframe. The agents who build content-driven brands are not working more hours than agents who don't. They're actually just working differently. They're investing time up front to build an asset, a YouTube channel, a social media presence, a searchable library of videos. That pays them back in inbound leads, partnership opportunities, and referrals for years. That's not time cost, that's time investment. And with AI handling a significant portion of the production work, the repurposing, the captions, the SEO optimization, the actual time commitment is far smaller than most agents assume. I've helped agents go from zero content presence to consistent weekly rhythms in less than 30 days. Not because they suddenly had more hours, but because they finally have a system. The fourth and final pillar is positioning. This is the one that ties everything together. Positioning is the answer to one question. When someone thinks of you, what do they think of? What do you own in their mind? What's the one thing you're known for in your market or in the broader agent community if that's your audience? Most agents have no positioning. They're very general. They work with buyers and sellers across all price ranges and all neighborhoods and all situations. And that's fine for running a transaction business, but it does nothing for building a brand. The agents who build real authority, the ones who are consistently getting inbound, consistently getting referrals, consistently getting found by the right people, those are the ones who are known for something specific, a niche, a method, a market, a philosophy. For me, my positioning is built around helping agents build modern AI-driven businesses that don't rely on outdated prospecting. That's not every agent's problem, but for the agents it is a problem for, it makes me exactly the right person to talk to. What's your version of that? What do you know, do, or believe that not everyone else in your market offers? It might be your neighborhood expertise. It might be your knowledge of a specific buyer or seller profile. It might be your approach to marketing listings. It even might be your use of actual technology. Whatever it is, that's your positioning. And once you get clear on it, everything else starts to align around it naturally. Here's the practical step. Write one sentence that completes this statement. I help specific person do specific thing so that specific outcome. The sentence is your positioning statement. It goes in your bio. It informs every piece of content you create. It's what you say when you're asked what you do. And if you're struggling to figure out what yours is, that's actually one of the most valuable conversations I have with agents in these discovery calls. Sometimes it just takes someone asking you the right questions for 20 minutes to help you see what you've been building all along. So Here's what a strong real estate brand looks like when all 4 pillars are in place. You have a visual identity that consistently comes across every platform. Same color, same font, same overall aesthetic. Someone can look at your content anywhere and immediately know that it's yours. You have a brand voice that sounds just like you. Specific, honest, direct, and human. Not generic, not corporate. You have a content strategy that shows up consistently, educational, perspective-driven, and personal. And AI is doing a significant portion of the heavy lifting on production. And you have a clear positioning statement that tells everyone exactly who you are, who you serve, and why you're the right person for that specific group. That's not $1 million brand, that's a luxury brand. That's a credible, trustworthy, magnetic brand. And it's completely buildable for any agent who decides to take it seriously. The agents who are going to win in the next 5 years are not going to be the ones with the biggest ad budgets. They're going to be the ones who build a real digital brand. Who showed up consistently, who used AI and modern tools to work smarter, who were known for something specific and served the audience with genuine value. That's the game, my friend. And it's a wide open space right now because most of your competition still has not figured that out. If you're an agent watching this and you're thinking, I know I need to fix my brand, but I don't know where to start, we should talk. I do discovery calls with agents every single week. We spend 20 to 30 minutes looking at where you are, what's working, what's not working, and what's the next right move for you. So no pitch, no pressure, just a real conversation. You can book directly at the link in my description, or if it's easier, just shoot me a text, 520-980-9880, and we'll figure out a time. If you found this helpful, hit subscribe because I post content like this every single week. And drop your biggest takeaway in the comments. I do read every single one, and I love to answer back. All right, I will see you in the next one.